another Monday. It's rainy. It's after Fiesta, so the weather is telling us how we feel that Fiesta's over. So, but either way, I'm Eric Velasquez. I'm your host for Alamo City Agenda, and we're here with another candidate for Bexar County Judge. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, Eric. My name is Edgar Coyle. I'm actually running on the Libertarian Party for Bexar County Judge.
Nice, interesting. So Libertarian ticket. This is why we started doing these, not just for the Libertarians, but to be able to showcase everyone that's going to be on the ballot, right? We want to make sure that everybody's informed, right? That's something that we feel like is lacking a lot in these elections. How do you think that's accurate?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the elections are, majority Democrat or Republican, and we don't get a lot of coverage, except from people like you in the independent media space. So,
yeah, for sure.
Just personally, I'd like to say thank you for what you do at this podcast. It's great.
Thank you, appreciate it. And that's why it's Alamo City Agenda, not my agenda, but the citizens, the San Antonio itself. That's what it should be about, right? Always.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. If you want to either do like why you wanted to run for county judge, or just a little bit about yourself first.
So again, I'm Edgar Coyle. Me and my wife, we actually got married out here, but we moved back in 2016 from New Mexico. So, we didn't move in the middle of the rush recently, so we've been here a while. But she actually brought us out here for teaching. She got a job for SAISD through Teach for America, and we fell in love with it, and we consider it our home now. We love the culture, we love the freedom, and that's part of the reason why I'm running, is because this last 2 years with COVID and all the mandates, from Nelson Wolff and Ron Nirenberg and Greg Abbott for that matter, really had me worried, because we love the attitude of freedom here in Texas, and I just don't want to see that lost. So
Gotcha.
that's why I'm running.
Gotcha. And so, like, as far as with your wife and teaching, how much of a role has that played into your campaign as far as with teachers? I know there's a lot of lack of teachers that are being supported right now and all that stuff. So how big of a role has that impacted on your?
I hadn't really given education much thought until we came out here, and she'll come home at the end of the day and tell me all her stories from the day, and what's going on behind the scenes, and I was just amazed at the way that things actually run. And she's not a teacher anymore. She kind of saw what it was all about and couldn't go forward with it anymore. But from my perspective, it really influenced me and kind of cemented my libertarian thinking as to, we need to get the government out of as many things as possible, and education for sure would really help from less government, maybe more school choice. There's a lot of charters and private schools now that are expanding in the market. So
right. Yeah, there's definitely, I think I'm seeing a lot of more school choice, which is good. But there's also a lot of private schools, and so a lot of the public schools seem like they're getting a little bit short end of the stick. So what's something that you would like to see happen for the public schools, maybe?
I don't know how much I can do as Bexar County Judge, but personally, I would like to see the way that the schools are funded reformed, because right now, from what I understand, basically property taxes across the state, a large portion of that goes specifically to schooling and education. And property taxes is one of my big issues on this campaign. And personally, I think we need to abolish property taxes altogether. So I think looking at different methods of funding is definitely critical, especially for education. The way that it is now, the emphasis is on testing and actual, basically head counting. The kids show up and they need a certain attendance level, and that reflects poorly if they have a lower attendance level than other schools in the area. So I think that definitely needs to be reformed, and the emphasis needs to be put on actually educating instead of, getting the kids there and them to pass a test.
So what do you say to the people that are like, why would we abolish property taxes? It's bad enough for these schools that are not getting proper funding already. Getting rid of these taxes would completely decimate it. What do you say to debate that?
Well, I completely understand the hesitation behind that. From what I've seen, just, and again, I'm not a teacher. I'm just, hearing a lot of this stuff. And, she's got friends and stuff like that. But from what I understand, there's a lot of waste in the administration side. There's not as much money goes to actually educating as you would think. There's a lot of, principals and administrators and, just various, secretaries and these committees and stuff like that absorb a lot of that. And, they're still getting, this is 2022, and a lot of the schools are still getting textbooks every single year. They've got a lot of contracts with textbooks. And there's a lot there that could be reformed. And, a lot of the curriculum that's actually, required for STAR and the textbooks that they're supposed to use often don't jive with each other. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to be explored there.
Yeah, and I interviewed a lot of school board candidates last year. A lot of them were against the STAR testing. So, they did not want anything to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
So, there's people that want change, but there's a lot of resistance, for who knows. It's probably just like how we have it now. There's already money implemented in certain fields, and they want to keep it that way. It's the status quo. Yeah. So what are some budget items that you would like to see in the upcoming budget for Bexar County? I know the bond is coming up too and everything like that, but for the budget, what would you like to see? What would you like to see cut back? Anything like that?
As far as I'm concerned, university health system, that's the big one. I think it's the biggest item on the budget. And, over the last 2 years, an unbelievable amount of money has been printed. And a lot of the hospitals have just gotten tons, I don't want to say in the form of bailouts, but there's been a lot of money flowing to hospitals. And I think we need to reassess the relationship between the county and university health system, and, if it could, roll back a little bit and maybe get some funding from elsewhere. I know there's a lot of philanthropy, and, there's a lot of other hospital systems in the area. So I don't understand why this one particularly has to be directly funded on the budget.
Yeah. I know there's that relationship, and I know we had talked about it the last interview, but there's definitely always room for growth and for change and for, to look at something. And we should always have those checks and balances.
Of
right?
course, yeah.
Fraud, waste, and abuse is terribly something that we need to get rid of.
Yeah. I'd like to speak to that because I mentioned property taxes a little bit earlier. I don't want to, I'm not one of these people that just, hey, I want to get rid of this thing and I don't have anything to replace it. I've thought about this a lot. I think we need to kind of shift in the direction of, funding mechanisms that make sense. And I think a good avenue for this, getting rid of property taxes would be if we try to take some of the money in the general fund and start a sovereign wealth fund. There's a lot of other countries that do this. I believe Norway has a sovereign wealth fund. That's how they fund a lot of their, if you want to call them welfare programs, the safety nets. And I think we need to really consider that because property taxes are really decimating people right now with, the inflationary monetary policy the last 2 years. There's been an unbelievable amount of money printed, and that's kind of working its way into the housing market. And, valuations are going through the roof, and property tax relief isn't really coming. So I'd still like to fund a lot of this stuff, but I think we need to get away from the onerous, direct property taxation method.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, if you haven't gotten your appraisal yet, it's probably on its way because I got mine, and it's ridiculous. So I will tell everybody again, please protest your taxes. Go to bcad.org to go protest it. If you don't know, please ask. I can help you. But it's simple. It's worth it, and it'll help you in the long run. I mean, at least some money in your pocket. It's better than the government getting your money. So, so just please do that. I mean, it's simple, and it's worth it for you. So many people have stated that the public meetings for the public sessions for county judge or county commissioner's court are not accessible. What is the first thing that you would like to see happen if you do get elected?
Well, I mean, I don't know why it can't just be transparently posted on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, like your program is. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there shouldn't be any closed doors in government. You know, this is supposed to be for the public, and I think the public needs to have direct, easy access to understand what's going on. So,
I think it's mostly like the public input, right? So like they might stream it, but as far as public input, or they don't have enough time, or they don't have anything like as far as to give that public comment or public opinion.
Yeah, that's a good thing too. I mean, we can have certainly maybe we can have open town hall nights. I know it's kind of weird being the county. You know, it's if you're going to city council, that's kind of a different thing. So a lot of people don't know what issues are actually at stake in the commissioner's court. So that could be another reason for the not as vocal public support at these meetings.
Yeah, and I think one of the other issues was when we were talking to one of the other candidates is like the city's budget stuff or city's comments, they get more shine than the county.
Yeah.
You know, and so kind of takes away from that, but definitely needs to have some type of public input because that's still our money, right?
Yeah.
You know, we can't be doling out $700,000 to, you know, the rodeo for, you know, for whatever reason, you know. So Commissioner's Court, they did pass $5,000 property tax, reduction. So do you think that's enough?
I don't think I don't know how anyone can think that's enough.
I mean, it's
the current valuation
in your pocket. So,
yeah.
It's
the thing about the whole getting revenue through property taxes, at the end of the day, there's really no incentive to cut property taxes. You know, when home valuations are going up as much as they are, you know, that's just more money in the budget. So
and they're going to get 22 million. Increase 22 million.
Yeah, and
from last year.
Yeah, and this is why I think we need to look into alternative forms of taxation, like the sovereign wealth fund idea that I have. So I really don't think that's enough, but you know, I guess it's a step in the right direction. You know, baby steps, I guess.
With Judge Wolf leaving, do you see the commissioner's court changing?
From what I understand, I don't think so. Obviously, whoever becomes a county judge is going to have immense weight behind that. But I admit I'm a long shot candidate, like most libertarians. But I hope that we can move in the right direction, regardless of the outcome of the election in November.
Yeah. Well, I applaud you anyway. I mean, regardless, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
Right. It's not an easy thing to put your name in, much less as a third party candidate.
No.
You know, you're already.
The deck's a little bit stacked against us.
Just a little bit, you know. I think salmon have a little bit, you know, better chance sometimes, but it's still trying to fight, you know, and that's cool. What's your favorite small business to eat here in Bexar County?
Honestly, I would have to say Jim's. You know, the diners that are around here, they're fantastic. They're great people. They've got good food. My wife really loves the breakfast tacos around here. We're from New Mexico, so I personally prefer a breakfast burrito than a breakfast taco. But her favorite is Mimi's. They've got great salsa. But for me, it's going to have to be Jim's.
Okay, all right. Do you have any artists or anything that you kind of follow around here, like that you like any artists? Could be like painting or.
I'm not too keyed into the local music scene, but there's a great concert scene. I love the Aztec Theater. There's not a lot of local bands that I keep up with, but
that's something that a lot of people have said here that I've been hearing from the music community is they don't get enough people to be able to support them here. So they move somewhere else, right?
Yeah,
They go to Houston
yeah.
or they go to wherever, and it's sad because I think we have a lot of good talent here, like great talent.
yeah.
But it's just difficult for them to be able to get anything, or any support. So, do you think something like a I don't know, a venue or something that or something to help promote local artists would be kind of beneficial? Because if you think about it, if we help and keep some of these artists here, that could be some type of, we can benefit somehow, you know what I mean, from tourism or whatever.
No, I agree. I mean, I personally, I don't think that should be government funded.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to the Rustic up in the Rim. They've got a great outdoor scene. They've got a lot of small bands, none that I follow, but I've seen them here and there.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's definitely, I think, a need for that. And when you consider the Riverwalk downtown, there's just great atmosphere for that kind of stuff. So.
Right.
I would love to see, someone step up and kind of have smaller venues instead of just, the Aztec and the Alamo Dome and
Right.
the AT&T Center. When you kind of got to get a headliner, that's pretty big to come through there.
Yeah.
To fill that
Yeah,
house.
well, a lot of them seem to either go to Austin or whatever it is.
Austin kind of sucks the energy out of the room, us being so close to there. So
we have good tacos though.
Yeah.
Right, guys? Yeah. Even what's his name? Who's the name from The Mandalorian? Who plays The Mandalorian? He said that San Antonio has the best tacos, so that is the way.
Oh, did he really?
Yes. So
That's
boom.
great.
Okay. So the proposed budget for county judge personnel services, which it kind of shocked me like when I brought this up, but it's at $570,000 and $570,129 for the fiscal year of 21 to 22. That's $100,000 over last year's, and not much has changed with the workflow.
Yeah.
And it was really only one person that was hired on according to what they had on the budget. So what would you like to do to start looking to see what's going on? Why is all this money coming in and not a lot is happening with that?
I mean, if there's not more employees, I don't know 100% sure what exactly is getting divvied up where, but I have to imagine that there's a lot of cost of living increases in that budget. So, it kind of relates back to what I've been saying about property taxes. Valuations are going up through the roof. A lot of it has to do with the inflation of the last 2 years. Right. So, I think we definitely need to take a look at this, and if we're getting that big of an increase for stuff like that, it definitely needs to be addressed.
Yeah, for sure. During COVID, County Judge Wolf issued the executive orders to mitigate the spread and a bunch of other stuff. So, what would you have done differently? And I know it's difficult because a lot of stuff it's unknown.
Yeah.
But what was your take on it?
So, me personally, that's one of the main issues that kind of got me off the sidelines was this whole COVID issue. And I can completely understand wanting to do something, and I can understand that you don't want loss of life. But the path that not just Nelson Wolff took, but Ron Nirenberg and basically the entire world was shoot first and ask questions later. And here in America and specifically Texas, because I feel like we have a culture of freedom. We're supposed to be a free society, and this was incredibly draconian. That the first thought was to copy, the communist Chinese model of just lock everybody down and it'll make it go away. So that's part of the reason why I'm running for Bexar County Judge, because I feel like we need someone in these local positions that actually cares about freedom, and it's not just about the public good. It's about preserving the citizens' right to freedom and, freedom of expression, freedom of movement. And that was unbelievably curtailed over the last 2 years. So I think he completely made the wrong call. And, at the end of the day, what happened was they made a value judgment, and they said, we need to lock down the population to protect the old and the infirm. And I'm not, wishing anyone ill will or anything, but that's not your decision to make. A lot of us have lives. There's been a lot of people that have had their lives ruined over the last 2 years. The mental health crisis, which I've personally had an issue with in my family. It hit so many people. The suicide rates are through the roof. Alcoholism, a lot of businesses were shut down, and it's not like you can just go and get a bailout. Like the thing in Dallas with Shelley Luther, she opened her business because she couldn't get the aid that was provided, because you can't get unemployment if you're not an employee, and if you're an independent hairstylist, if you own your own business, if you're a 1099 contractor, you can't get these things that were offered. And for the lockdowns to go the way that they did was completely disgusting, in my opinion. And I didn't have any sort of influence or anything at the time, but I was personally against them from day one. That this is not what we do in this country, in this state, and in this area.
Gotcha. Yeah, and follow-up question though is the small business, they were left to fend for themselves. I mean, and the big box stores thrive, like Walmart and HEB, but I think HEB did a lot to help. But
yeah.
But Walmart, they stayed open, but a lot of these small businesses were just like, sorry,
Yeah.
And then there wasn't enough communication to, especially like the south side and the west side and the east side that have maybe a lower income. There wasn't any communication to them as far as with these grants or things like that, and it didn't help. So, what's your take on that? Because a lot of those businesses suffered in general, right? So, what would you do to help that, to communicate?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not the greatest Spanish speaker, but I know that the language barrier is definitely an issue in different parts of town. There probably needed to be better, outreach to that sort of group. But as far as the businesses are concerned, like I said, I don't think that just because they came with an olive branch and say, hey, here, I'm going to try to help you out with your business, that's not enough. Maybe it helped a lot of businesses kind of get through, but there were still people that maybe they did get some help, but they still went under. So I'm not exactly sure what could have been done differently to maybe help the businesses through, but in my opinion, a lot of this aid actually prolonged the whole thing, because if it would have been week 3 and businesses all around the state and the country and the county for that matter just said, hey, I'm going to go bankrupt, you need to lift these things right now, in my opinion, some of the aid actually kind of helped prolong and make the situation worse. So I don't think it was the right call at all. It was kind of botched on every single level. Gotcha. In my opinion.
Okay. Sidetrack. Let's go. What is your favorite type of music?
My favorite type of music. I'm actually into the harder rock, the kind of metal.
Okay.
I like, Linkin Park, Shinedown. One of my favorite bands over the last couple of years has actually been Hailstorm. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
I want to say yes.
Incredible vocalist. There's not a lot of women in rock, but she has just the amazing. I've seen him in concert a couple times here actually at the Aztec, and just amazing, just voice and power, and they really bring the show. So I'm into the harder rock and that kind of stuff. So yeah,
hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. As long as it's not, what was it? I don't know, Banda or what? So tell us about a story that shaped you in the person you are today. Like, what made you want to get into politics in general? Like,
so I'm actually my primary profession is cabinet making. I'm a carpenter.
Oh, okay.
So honestly, a big thing that shaped me was learning about economics. Because I was working at small cabinet shops where I originally was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And, I was in high school during the 2008 financial crisis, and I was always curious, hey, why exactly did this go the way that it did? Why did everything crash like this? Because everyone, that I've ever worked with is like, oh, it used to be so great before the 2008 thing, and then kind of decimated the whole industry. And just learning about the world through the lens of economics and how the economy functions and all that. There's, I don't know if you've ever heard of this website, Mises.org, a fantastic website with a lot of free resources on economics and stuff like that. I highly recommend to anyone watching. But that really shaped me. It really opened my eyes and, made me think of the world differently. And, I've kind of carried that with me kind of ever since I came into that. And, that's kind of why I'm here today, is because, I see a lot of the things that people overlook. There's a French economist, I think he was in the 18th century, Frederick Bastiat. His big claim to fame was that he presented the case for the seen versus the unseen. And he had this story where he talked about, if you had a window and some kid just threw a rock and broke your window, economically speaking, the glazier who's going to come out and fix that window, hey, he's got a job to do. But what you don't see is the money that person who owned that window could have spent somewhere else. And just seeing these sorts of things really, opened my eyes, and I've seen a lot of that over the last 2 years. Hey, we locked down. Maybe we didn't have to lock down. Maybe we could have used this money in other ways. Maybe we could have, did targeted, not targeted lockdowns, but targeted help to the elderly population in terms of, keeping them safe from COVID and let everybody else go through. So I guess that's shaped me a lot.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's definitely something that you start looking at from a bigger lens, right? So it's like, okay,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's more to life than just.
Yeah. All right. Tell me about a time that you had no idea what you're doing. You're just like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh man.
Because here's the thing: is the reason why I asked that question is because a lot of people that are in public office or in the public eye, they never want to admit that when they're wrong, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's something that you should be able to express. Look, I've been wrong before.
Yeah.
I'm willing to admit when I made a mistake.
Yeah.
So what's the time that you feel like you're like, man, I just
Man, I don't know.
We can circle back if you
Maybe we circle back to that one. Yeah. Sorry, I don't have anything off the top of my head. Not that I'm perfect or anything, but I'm just
No,
it's
just
kind of.
how do you plan for self-care?
Self-care. I really love the nature that we have in San Antonio. There's a lot of walking trails and parks and stuff like that. So when I kind of need a break and try to de-stress, I really like to go to Phil Hardberger Park over on Wurzbach Parkway and just kind of walk around the trails and there's deer wandering around here and there, and just being in nature, I think, is great for anyone nowadays. With so much technology that we deal with and looking at screens all day and being inside, it's nice to just get outside in the sunlight and the nature and kind of let it all go.
With that, though, do you think the land bridge is a waste of money?
I don't understand how it costs that much, but I've been to it and I appreciate that it's there, but I don't know how it costs that much, honestly.
It's kind of like with the Alamo. It's that's a hot mess. There's so much stuff that's like, what? Why? What is the vision for yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I mean, hopefully, I can be elected, even though I'm a long shot Bexar County judge, and, make the county freer and more efficient and all that. But, I acknowledge that's a little bit of a long shot. I'd really like to own my own business. I see a lot of people moving here, and I'm in the construction industry, and that's just there's not enough houses, there's not enough inventory, and I would love to be able to work for myself and build up San Antonio and Bexar County.
Gotcha.
Any way that I can.
Yeah. And what's your vision for the county in the next 5 years?
Well, for the county, I mean, property taxes, I think, would transform the county. Personally, I think that Bexar County could be the freest county in Texas, and we've got everything going for us. We've got we've got HEB here. We've got so many different businesses, all the economic opportunities here. At Austin, everyone says, everyone's moving to Austin, but a lot of people see the way that Austin's going, and it's like, hey, San Antonio's, only an hour or so away, and a lot of people are actually wanting to come out here. So if we can get major property tax relief, I think that would just, that alone would transform the county and make us a powerhouse in the state, I think.
So with the election system the way it is right now, how would you like to see? Would you like to see any type of election change? I know Austin just last year passed ranked choice voting. Can't use it; it's illegal.
Yeah,
which is dumb.
That seems kind of silly.
But there's obviously some sense of they want some change, right? Do you think San Antonio needs that change here, not for ranked choice, but maybe approval voting or something like that?
Personally, I prefer ranked choice. I don't understand why it would be illegal. It seems so innocuous to me. Of course, I don't really have any impact on that and changing.
Yeah, right.
That.
Yeah.
But approval voting is, I think, probably better than what we have now. It's a little bit confusing. I've used it before, but once you know what it is, it gives you a lot more options to actually vote for the people that you'd want to see instead of first past the poll and just winner take all sort of stuff. So, I think approval voting would be great.
Yeah, approval voting would actually be legal. So if they were to pass it, that would be legal. Ranked choice, though, according to the legislature, would not be, which is weird. So I know you told me that you just got elected to vice chair for the Libertarian Party here locally.
I have, yeah, that's right.
So tell us what your guys' vision is, or to tell people, a little bit more about what you're doing to maybe make some changes or what.
So for those of you who don't know, the website lpbear.org, if you're curious, I have been elected the vice chair. What we would like to see is we want to see a free Bexar County. And, I've talked about a lot of the issues that we're looking to pursue going forward, but we just want to make this the best, most free county in the state of Texas. And, we're not concerned about, divisive cultural issues. We just want freedom for the people of this county, and we're trying to get out there and spread the message of liberty, and we want a free Bexar County as much as possible.
Okay. And what are some last things you would like to say to kind of recap?
Well, I mean, like I said, property taxes, COVID, those are my main issues motivating me to get into this race. But, I think just by and large, we need more input from, the smaller parties like mine. There is, it's always, Democrats and Republicans, and we've all seen over the last, 6 years or so, what can actually happen by playing that game. Democrats are out to get Republicans, and maybe they influence their thinking with different policies here and there, and it really hurts us. So, I would just like to tell everyone that the Libertarian Party cares about you. We care about your freedoms, and if that's something that resonates with you, please come out and see us one month. We have monthly meetings, lpbear.org, and vote Libertarian this November for county judge and any other position you can find with the Libertarian on the ballot.
I always advise to still vote your conscience, right? I'm very much I don't want to vote for a specific party or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you want to vote your conscience. Vote for
sure.
who you feel is the best fit. And only you can find out unless you're actually paying attention, right? You're trying to figure out who's running.
Yeah.
Not day of in your car right before you go to the elections. You really want to start looking at these, because a lot of these positions put you. They're affecting your daily lives, right? So,
I just to kind of dovetail into that, there's a lot of emphasis on, it's like your civic duty to vote. You don't have to vote. If you're finding yourself on the last day and you don't know who to vote for, it's okay to stay home. Obviously, if you want to vote, go ahead. But I feel like there's a lot of pressure on people to, you have to vote, you have to vote, you have to vote. And it's okay if you don't know if you don't know the issues. There's nothing wrong with staying home. So,
yeah, that's the thing is they're just voting. A lot of people are voting just for whoever.
Yeah,
and that doesn't help the situation.
That doesn't always help.
Yeah. So it definitely vote, but vote conscience. Vote for who you want to know that you want in there that would be a good fit.
Yeah, for sure. Vote with purpose. Don't vote against. Yeah. In my opinion.
Exactly. So, how can people find you, get a hold of you, help you?
So I actually have Facebook, Instagram. It's just Edgar Coyle for Bexar County Judge. We have an Ended campaign that I have posted on there. And honestly, if you want to come out to the Libertarian Party meetings, that really helps too. But yeah, that's all I've got right now.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, it's a very important race for the county judge. So please be informed. Again, like I said last week, is just find out who these people are. That's what the purpose of these interviews are, to just really get a hold of who these people are, get to know a little bit more about them, and ask questions. Really, that's where it really matters, is when you ask these questions, reach out, get involved, because without you, the right people don't get elected. And I mean right people as is community people that are here for the community, and not just for people that are getting funded by corporations. So and with that, thank you guys for joining. Hopefully we will have another interview soon with the last county judge, Peter Sakai. So if you know him, please tell him, reach out to me. And yeah, thank you guys for everything, and just stay tuned.